So this is part 8 of the Schumacher CAT 3000 rebuild series. Last time I rebuilt, or I sort of cleaned up and re-greased the front diff. I had commented at the end of that I might just do the rear diff on my own and then start from there. But a viewer had suggested that I get the correct tool for doing the C-rings on the inside of the diff. And it's something like this. It's different people call it different names. It's like a retaining ring tool or a C-ring tool. Different companies make them. This one's made by Lang. You can get them by Craftsman and a few others. So basically I just did an eBay search for this kind of tool with the cheapest price, and this one happens to be made in the US, so that's also great. And basically you have different attachments you can put on the end of this to do different kinds of retaining clips, and it can expand outward this way, or if you click it this way you can use it to close a ring, so that's kind of neat. Anyway, this is what we need to do the job correctly. So why don't we go do that? And first thing we got to do here is undo the oh man, oh okay, that's the seal, I forgot. Where is my pocket knife? I think I put it. Alright, so we got to take that thrust bolt out. Here it is. In order to take everything apart, so let's do that. Oh, I see. Maybe that was broken a little bit. Yeah, alright. So it looks like this, and normally this guy has two little kind of ears that slot in these two slots here to hold it in place, but for whatever reason those seem to have broken off. I can check through the diff parts to see if I have an extra one that I can put in there, just to make sure the build is as new as can be in terms of the parts quality. Let's get some of this orange gunk off. I doubt I can get all of it, but let's see how much we can get before we undo that thrust bolt. And then with the bolt out of the way, we may have to go in there and get the rest. This stuff, it's like, it kind of feels like caulk, like silicone caulk. That's what it feels like. So it must be, for whatever reason, the previous owner did that. Again, maybe maybe to reduce play between the blades and the diff outdrive. It's very possible. Okay, so put those aside. And this is 2.5. Thrust bolt. Oops. Let's see. Let's use this scissor here. Perfect. Let's see what this looks like. So you'll notice that the diff pulley for the rear diff here is wider than for the front diff. So the front diff uses a 4mm wide belt. The rear diff uses a 6mm wide belt. But the parts, the internals, are otherwise the same internals as I understand it. Okay, we'll take that out. Take the bearings out. Guides off. 1, 2. Now it all comes out. So that is the nut side. This is the thrust bearing side. Okay. And we gotta take all these guys. I'm sure this is fine, but we'll just put it here for now. And then, what do we got here? Ooh, sticky. So These are quite large diff balls. I think they're 4mm diff balls. Pretty sure that's the size. Actually, you can check. What was it, like page 14 or something that's on? Yeah. 4mm diff balls. Those are the main diff balls. Yep. Okay. Anyway. Check the diff rings. See how they look. So this ring looks maybe slightly grooved compared to what the front diff had. Okay, so maybe this was run a little bit tighter when it was used. But as you can see, diff rings have two sides, and even the grooving isn't that bad. It's still, you know, it's not bad. So we may be able to reuse that side of the diff. It should be fine. And this feels a lot stickier. Like whatever diff lube was used on this diff, it's like kind of gluey. Maybe that's just aging. Who knows? You know, I don't know how long this diff has been sitting in the car, sitting in a box, but clearly either from age or from whatever material was used, that grease or that lube is really tacky for some reason. Alright, so we are well on our way to making another happy little diff. Let's just wipe off as much of this stuff as we can, so that way when we put on our own diff lube, it's not really mixing with whatever this gunk is, even if it's clean. Like there's no dirt inside this, which is great, but still, I want to get this old stuff out and put new stuff in. Alright, that's reasonable. So next, yeah, there's all that orange crap in there. We gotta see if we can clean that out somehow. Where was my... Oh, there's a pocket knife. See if I can scrape it out. Just a little bit, like so. Now there is stuff that they make for like kitchens and bathrooms when you're re-caulking like a bath or like marble tiles against each other near a sink. There's this stuff they make that basically eats away at the old silicone caulk. And I was thinking, okay, well maybe I can use some of that here. I do have some over there somewhere on a shelf, but if I can avoid using it by just scraping this stuff off, because I feel slightly lazy right now, I'll just do it that way. But this stuff is really sticking. Like even if you poke at it, it wants to kind of stick to the surface. Look at all of that. Alright, I wonder... Okay, let me take this. Q-tips are not abrasive though, so I don't know how much I can get here. Not much at all apparently. Well, I get a little bit. A little bit. All the excitement. Okay. Let's see here. I got little orange crumbs everywhere. You want to make sure you don't get any of those inside the actual diff assembly when you're putting it all back together, because that will interfere, obviously, with how the diff functions. Okay. want to get it out of these deep recesses. It's like all of this right here. Let's see if I can scrape away. Yeah, okay, we're kind of getting there. And then maybe on this side, because I also need the lighting to hit it just right so I can see what I'm trying to remove. See how I part up? There's a little piece. Good. Alright. Okay. I think we got enough of it out. I can brush the rest. I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's a big one right there. Let's see. Okay. Alright. See if we can get a few more of these out. Yeah, okay. Alright. We're making a little bit of progress here. It doesn't blow off easily either because it's so sticky. What a pain. Alright, that's decent enough. Now I do have other diff out drives actually, if that really is so upsetting, that I can swap out that doesn't have that orange crap all over it. Where did I put those? I think I put them here. Yes. And these guys, so that's going to be the open side there. This is going to be either this one or this one. This one's cleaner. I got to get the thrust bearing out of there. But as you can see, no gunk. Well, let's see. This one's cleaner on the inside. I can clean that off. This one is cleaner on the outside. There's no scraping, so let me use this one. And the outdrive itself is also in pretty decent shape. So let's do that. That would mean, let's see, is this just dirt? Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, good. Now I could clean off pretty easily. I have to get new gloves in a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first take this little clip off. Let's see if this works. Ooh. Ooh. That's kind of interesting. Look at that. See, it comes right off. Super easy. Awesome. Now, that's kind of dirty there. But again, I have no idea how long that thrust bearing has been in there, so can't really speak to it. Okay, whatever the heck that is. So we're going to take this guy. Alright. Those are all the springs. This might actually be in okay condition. We can re-grease that. Alright, let me, because these are so sticky, I got some extra gloves here. Let's change my gloves. The reason I'm using gloves, normally I don't do this, I'll just wash my hands after, but you know, when you're working with diffs or shocks, you're dealing with oil and grease, it just makes it easier to, you know, keep your hands clean. Because when you try to wash grease off your hands, you can use like really hot water and soap and scrub and scrub and scrub. It's like, well, I'll just wear gloves. Keeps it simple. Alright, so we're going to just put that one there. This clip, though, is a little dirty. Is that something we can just wipe off? Let's see. It's not too bad. Alright, so we'll reuse that. And as for the housing, okay, let me get another Q-tip. Ooh, I got one right here. These are great for cleaning off diff out drives and shock bodies. Like if you get an old RC10, for example, and it's been really sort of beaten up and it's dirty, and you're rebuilding the shocks are all nasty and grody on the inside. Q-tips are great. Put some Simple Green on there and just start scrubbing away. Helps you get all the dirt off. Alright, that's actually pretty good. So, put that aside. Alright, so just to jog my memory of the order in which these pieces go in. The thrust bolt. So the bearing's going to go in first, clearly. Alright, so bolt. And then we got, let's look at these plates. Are these plates any good? Okay. So I'll make sure there's no like major scratches or anything like that. They look alright, I suppose. Okay, so here we go. It's the bottom side. We're going to get some black grease. Now one of these is a bit empty. Let's make sure I'm using the right one. Yep, okay, we're going to use this one. Oh, this one's a bit empty too. Okay. Black grease on the inside there. Alright. I'm going to take this and slot it through. Hope none of the balls fall out, which they have not, which is great. And then we put some black grease on top. Like so. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to smush around anyway when you put this assembly together. That goes on. And then this is the arrangement of the spring washers. So let's say down, up, down, up. So that's going to be, there's 4 of them. So it's going to be down. That's going to be, let's see, flip that over, up. And this will say, flip that over. That was kind of compressed, but alright. That'll be down. And then this one, flip it over this way, is up. Okay. So that's all set. And we can plop that into here, like so. Oops. There's that little orange piece that stuck, it's everywhere. Alright, get that out of there. Okay, so we're just going to slot that through. Goes in this little housing. It's just going to sit right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and this. Alright. Just going to put it right in there. Ooh, wow, that's easy. So with the right tool, that is super easy. Holy cow. That makes me much more okay with how they designed this diff halve. Because this will really keep the thrust bearing clean, because it's all kind of on the inside here. Although, you know, some dirt can get between, like inside the thrust bolt here, because there's a little bit of a tiny gap between the thrust bolt and the inside diameter of your thrust bearing. So some dirt can get in there, but it'll take quite a lot more effort for that to happen, for sure. Okay, that was actually pretty satisfying. So now, let's see, because when you do this, they do want you to put, there's like a little spacer, a diff spacer, and that's going to go on this side, which is this side. Alright, just going to be, what did they do here? Okay, that side. So that's going to sit there. Got it. Alright, so now, get some of this. And I'm going to put it here, the inside. And let's see, which way do we want to do this? Is it really, well, okay, so that's a little more worn than that side. But I can see the ring there. Alright, you know what? I'm going to go this way. Okay. And then do this. This may be a bit much. So now that spacer is going to go on this side here. So we're going to slide it through like so. And put the balls in. Again, these particular pulleys are not made in such a way that they'll hold the balls. You need the diff halves to press against it to sort of hold the balls in place. Slightly annoying when you're rebuilding the diffs, or building them even. Alright, so then, oh, that's just the thrust bolt. Okay, no biggie. So now we do the same on this side. This is the easy side. Alright, and then what do we got here? Go this way. Put that bearing in there. And then actually we'll do it like so on the balls. Slot this through like this. Alright, please, 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 freaking work. Is it actually going in? It doesn't feel like it's going in. That's what she said. Alright, so let's see. It does go through, which is good. But it feels like this side isn't making contact with the diff balls, and it is not. Alright, so I am missing something here. Not sure what exactly. Does that just have to go through? What's going on? Pushing. Yeah, so all you have is oops, oops, oops. That's bad news. Alright. Let's try again. That's sitting that way. Oh, I see. Maybe it's just because of that bearing. So really, I can't push that bearing through, so I just have to do this a little differently here. Get this guy. This little spacer here, I gotta get this out. The ordering is a little different from what it was, or how it's supposed to be, rather. Alright. So this is going to go on this side. Is that correct? Yes. Alright, put these back in. We'll have to re-lube it. And this, alright. So now, so there is an actual asymmetry to how this is assembled. interestingly. So that's just going to go, yeah, it's going to go on this side. Okay. And then this will go through this way. That should do it. Yes. Okay, good. And this, oops. This diff knot goes in here. And then we screw. Alright. Sure. Yep. Okay. Good. Good. So we got that right. Okay, now we can really start making progress. So again, you don't want to tighten down all the way from the start. Once you start to feel it tighten a little bit, rotate a little here and there, tighten a little more, rotate, just keep doing that. Yeah, alright. I can just use this thing. Okay. I can feel it getting tighter. Alright, then we're going to go again. Yeah, it's, at least on the bolt side, it feels pretty tight. The diff itself doesn't feel super tight. Those springs on the thrust bolt might be a little worn. This is still, oh yeah, no, that's plenty good. Alright, so I'm just going to back off a little. Okay. Now, one thing I do like about how these diffs are made compared to the CAT 2000, which had the coaxial out drives that connected to the dog bones and then another coaxial universal joint. Is it coaxial the right way to put it? Oh, well, it had a universal joint here and a universal joint here. And in order, you couldn't, because it didn't have like, you know, a dog bone that's slotted into the out drive that you could slide out and then adjust the thrust bolt to adjust the diff setting. It was all kind of locked in place. You have to put on the CAT 2000 diffs, there's like a little hole on the out drive, and there's another piece that slots in on the inside, and you have to line them up and slot like a 0.05 inch you know, hex unit through that to lock it in place, and then you can spin the wheels to adjust the diffs. It's kind of neat because you don't really have to take anything apart to do that, but at the same time, like if you pay really close attention to how it's assembled, without getting into too many details here, it's still a bit of a pain to actually build that out. Yeah, bit of a pain. So this is easier because you just, you know, pop a ball cup off, take this out, adjust the thrust bolt, and then you're all set. Alright, so this diff is good. Now let's check the bearings. A little bit dirty on the seals there, but otherwise that's good. Actually, it's not a seal, it's a shield. Alright, that's good. So this is just bearing oil. You don't need much. Flip it over, do the same thing. This is probably more bearing oil than you would need. But I'd rather build it for longevity so it doesn't fall apart on me later. Okay, so we got the diff done. So now before we mount it, we need a rear belt. And I know we got one of those lying around, just gotta find it. Okay, so this is all, it's all diff out drive stuff. Wow, got a lot of diff out drives. And another diff, slipper stuff. Okay, so it's not in here. Suspension arms. Okay, so we got some belts here. I believe that would be, well, the rear belt's the longer one and the wider one, so there's 2 rear belts there. These must be front. That's a rear drive belt, 6 millimeters. Yep, okay. So we got a few. Those are just arms. Okay. Guess those should go over here, really. Alright, so that's front belt. So we got rear belt. Alright, so which rear belt do we want to use? By the way, I think I can take these gloves off, since I'm not really dealing with greasy stuff right now. Okay, let's put these aside. So I want to try to reuse these, so I try to pull them off with the fingers still oriented in the right way. I'm a bit of a stickler for those kinds of details. Okay, let's put it there. Okay, so these belts here, one of them looks kind of aged. Oh yeah, I'll have to put those away later. But let's see how this looks. Ooh, yeah. So that one, why does it look like that? Looks like there's, maybe a little bit of dirt on that. That's clearly a used belt. This one is also hard, it's a little bit used. Yeah, that's used. Okay. Gates, power, GT3R, 408. Okay. So I can certainly order more, since I have the belt type here. So I guess I got to use this new one, U2278. So we will use that. Actually, okay, let me, oops, that's odd. I also have, by the way, other CAT 2000 or 3000 parts, because I have another CAT 3000 right up there. So if I check in this box, I do not recall if there were any belts in here. But while I'm at it, why don't I check so I can see what I actually have for drivetrain parts. So shock stuff, arms. If I remember correctly, there are no extra belts in here. I know I'm kind of spoiled for parts. Not a bad problem to have, to be honest. Okay, looks like that's all shock stuff. Kinda, sorta. Alrighty. So not there. Springs. Wings. Okay. It's really not a problem if I don't have extra belts. I can always get more. Oop, there's some belts here. Look at that. Okay. Take those out. Shock stuff. Okay, okay, good. So, I'm going to have to sort through all of this too and arrange it into those parts bins for sure. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, fine. There. So here we have 2279FF, so those are clearly front belts. And here is one rear belt, which is in much better condition. So you know what? I'm going to use this one. Then I don't have to open up a new package. Which is something I would always much rather not do if I don't have to. Alright, so we'll put these back. here. I don't think we'll need this. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So mounting the rear diff, of course they don't tell you how. You just sort of do it. Alright. So the thrust bolt is on this side on the front. So I'm going to put it on the opposing side on the rear. Oh right, I still have to find a cap. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. These are all metal parts. Alright, there's no plastic cap in there. That's the nut. No cap. Fine. Let's see. Where did I have? Oh, that was over here. Okay, so put these back here in a minute. Let's see. Planning valve drives. Oh, this is really good. It's another nut. No cap. I think, oh, that's a nut. There's no cap there. Okay. So, those caps seem to be hard item to find. Alright, I guess I'll just have to use the odd looking one, unless there's anything in here. We have, oh, those are all washers. Oh, here we go. Look at that. That little guy right there. Perfect. Perfect. Alright. Come on, what's going on? Oh, these clips are always getting caught on the bags here. Alright. This is going to make life a bit easier. So I'll put this guy in, and that's going to go right over here. Let's see, I believe, oh, you know what, no, we gotta do it this way. And then just slot that in. Boop, just like that. Would it go in that way? Or, you know what, maybe it goes in the other way. In the meantime, I'll take this, put it there. So many things, so many parts and parts bags, you just gotta make sure you stay on top of putting them all away as soon as possible. Otherwise you end up with a big mess. Alright, so if we go back here for a minute, the cap goes, okay, yeah, so I think I got that backwards. I do. I'll take that out. See, the cap is kind of, oops, asymmetric. There's sort of a bottom end with these little nubs sticking out, so it actually flips over this way as it goes in. That's better. Yes. Okay, good. So that's going to go on this side, like that. And then this guy is going to do this. Okay. So this roller pulley here can be adjusted, oops, shit, up and down to adjust the tension on the rear belt. So what I might want to do temporarily is to adjust that upward just to make it a little easier for that diff to sit in the gearbox. There we go. While I put everything together. Alright, so that's kind of how it would go. Now we, damn it, that's kind of tight. Okay, stay there. housings, bulkheads, plate. Okay, so now we need upper housings. Those are lower housings. I believe that to be an upper housing. Is that so? No, you know what? Oh, that's a lower housing. That's an upper housing. And I guess we had a few. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So rear housing. It's going to be this guy, these two right here. Okay. It says there, front, rear. Great. Now what the heck is that little piece of metal there? Yeah, so I think what the previous owner did, strangely enough, is they put these little metal seats inside. I guess that's to, I don't know, help with the bearings somehow. And you see that same orange crap gluing those metal seats to the transmission housing. So we're just going to throw that aside and get new units. Alright, let's see if we can find them. That's a lower unit. That's all this. That's all pulley stuff. Okay. Here we have front transmission housing. Okay, so that's an upper and a lower. This is upper transmission. Okay, so that's one upper. So we definitely got the parts. Those are the bulkheads. We can use those.